Pete Hegseth's latest comments about these boat strikes in the Caribbean and off the eastern Pacific coastline are that they were protecting the United States citizens against narco terrorists. He's equating it to protecting the United States citizens against Al Qaeda. These people are not in territorial waters, U.S. territorial waters. They're out in international waters. These drugs were not coming to the United States. It's already been proven. They go into a country that they're going to get shipped off into a bigger boat and then get shipped overseas to Europe someplace. And yet Pete Hegseth is saying that Donald Trump has every right to take this military action. Donald Trump is wanted to get the narco terrorism down, as he calls it, and I get that. I truly understand trying to keep illicit drugs off the streets and keep it out of the hands of people who are going to abuse them, especially people who are overdosing and dying from them, and it's in the hundreds of thousands. I understand that. I agree with that. But to just blow them out of the water, we're not in a war with anyone. Everyone keeps calling these war crimes, and how in the hell is this a fucking war crime? We're not. There's been no. Congress has not issued a declaration of war. A declaration of war. Then I can understand. Well, yeah, if they're shooting back at us, but these men were in the water and they had no means of propulsion. They're hanging on to flotsam, just debris in the water of what's left of their boat. And the Republicans are coming out. The Republican congressmen are coming out and saying, "Well, they were trying to flip the boat over. There was no boat left. There was no boat left after that second strike. That boat was gone." And if there was a boat left, then the military's not doing a very good fucking job, then, are they? Somewhere along the line, we got the Republicans watch the same exact footage as the Democrats watched, and the Republicans, all but one of them, there were 6 of them that showed up to this congressional hearing, and they're stepping up and saying, yes, well, they were trying to flip the boat and take off again. How? What were they going to do? Paddle all the way over to Europe? It doesn't work that way, and that's even if they had drugs. Nobody knows, because nobody went out to actually check the boat out. The Coast Guard does the same exact thing. They do drug interdiction. I don't know how many times a year. I don't know the exact numbers, but we don't hear about them blowing up boats. But you do hear about them stopping these narcotics from coming into the United States, and they don't have to kill a bunch of people to do it. Last count I knew, there's 87 people that have been killed in these boats from the United States blowing them out of the water. Are you kidding me? That's not due process. That's not freedom. These people have the right. They have their day in court, just like you do, just like I do. 2 of these people, a month after that boat got struck twice, the double tap as it's called, in September, a month later, there was 2 survivors, and they were shipped back to their country of origin. Huh. Why is that? Because you knew that what you did in September, on September 7th or 2nd, was right? No, you did because you knew it was wrong. You sent 2 of them back. Why didn't you bring them in and try them in the court of law and let them present their evidence? You can present your evidence, and we'll find out who's right and who's wrong. Can't do that, though. You got to send them back to their country to cover your fucking ass, and that's exactly what you're doing. And you're covering for Donald Trump, a man who's no more qualified to be president in this country than Pete Hegseth, or Pete Hegsdeth, as I've been calling him, is to be the Secretary of the Department of Defense. And it is the Department of Defense. Only Congress can change the name to the Department of War, and they haven't done that yet, have they? Oh, and by the way, it's also the Gulf of Mexico, not the Gulf of America, Donald Trump, you stupid motherfucker.